You know, for a while there, I was seriously worried I was going to have to make allusions to Dexter. And after watching the series finale, I'm so damn happy that that is no longer the case. Let's talk Banshee. God, I love that theme song. So, there will be minor plot structure spoilers for Season 4, which is the final season, because there's a direction that the writers went with that is really disappointing, especially for the final season of a premium network television show. So, this isn't a review or critical analysis. Most, if not all of the time, the people involved with creating a show on a premium network television have an idea when and how the story will conclude. For commercial network television, the writers do not have this luxury. Hell, the writers are different from episode to episode. Commercial network writers are given general plot points and story direction, but each one is given free reign to get to these story beats as they see fit. So a lot of the time, commercial networks are just trying to keep the show alive and going. They don't really have an exact end in sight or mind, when suddenly they'll get the news from on high that the plug is being pulled. A premium network, like HBO or Showtime on the other hand, will almost always have an idea when the end is coming. They'll likely even have the end plotted out a season or two in advance. This is why it's so disappointing when one of my favorite shows goes into an 8-episode final season, shorter than the usual 10, with a cliche serial killer murder mystery storyline. We, as an audience, want to spend these last 8 hours being as close to the main characters as we possibly can. Why are you shifting the focus to a newly introduced, stereotypical, and just plain boring antagonist when the only thing we want to see is resolutions with what we already have? That's why we're still here. It just feels so cheap and easy to use a serial killer to create drama and tension. They're bad because they're bad. There's nothing beyond that. There's no depth to it. Like, people are dead because the big baddie killed them. No, people died because you bastards were too lazy to come up with a good way to bring the already established narrative threads together. It didn't help that the action and fight choreography were nowhere near as good as previous seasons either. This show was well known for its brutal brawls and movie-like action set pieces. It just seemed to me like there was a real presence of apathy throughout many of the usual top-tier qualities I came to expect from the show. And I got the sense that everyone was simply going through the motions, which is the last thing you want in the final season. In the end, it wasn't a complete failure though. As I mentioned before, nothing on the level of Lumberjack Dexter. I got one really solid finale episode that did the best it could with what the writers set up for it, and I can be satisfied with that. Banshee has been one of my favorite shows over the past 3 years. The core characters and actors were all fantastic, with special emphasis to Hoon Lee as Job. Seriously, this guy deserves a TV show all his own. The character of Job was the perfect mixture of humor, heart, and badassery, and Lee managed to turn it into one of the best supporting roles I've ever had the pleasure of watching. I'd still recommend you do yourself a favor and check out Banshee, despite a final season that stumbled to the finish line. I was extremely sad to see it go, and I hope each and every one of these actors move on to something just as great. Take it easy, and until next time.